I got a question for you, Josh.
Yeah?
Is Orlando Bloom a good actor?
Oh, I was so glad you're gonna bring this up because I was just reading this in a Discord somewhere. Uh, no.
Well, there you have it, folks. Welcome to A24 Quest. I'm going to be my tone is going to be a little distracted this episode because we have a kitten in the room.
Yep, our executive producers
Yeah.
are finally here.
Exactly. He's a little bundle of joy. He's just chilling, but I just want to make sure that he doesn't get into trouble.
Also, staring at my feet.
Fall into the wrong crowd. He's been attacking Josh's bare feet for 20 minutes.
Definitely following them.
Yeah.
Closely.
He's stalking. He's learning to stalk.
Aww.
That's nice.
How cute.
He's a Maine Coon, and I hear they've got a fantastic hunting ability.
And now it's time for a nap.
Yes. Oh yeah, like I said, he sleeps all the time.
Good.
Anywho, honestly, if I'm honest with you, I don't know what it is about this show, but I'm actually pretty excited to talk about these movies, and I don't know why. Well, okay.
I mean, my reasoning for enjoying doing the show so much is because I just like having a reason to watch movies that I typically wouldn't, and then proceed to talk about them to somebody.
Exactly. What it is we're living out our inner professional film critic fantasies. The idea of watching a movie because of obligation and then talking about it is kind of satisfying in a way.
That, along with the idea of actually having friends or people to talk to while
you could just stop it with
movies.
Like the idea of actually having friends. You could just stop it right there.
Yeah, right there. That's a fun idea, right?
Yes.
All right. Well, let's proceed to play out this friendship.
Oh boy. Okay.
Oh no.
So this is one of those. We got two Oscar bait dramas. Of varying degrees of quality. Let's start with The Last Burt Reynolds.
The Last Burt Reynolds.
He died not too long after this movie released.
4 months after it released, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And this movie is literally just...
This is like Burt Reynolds' Black Star, okay?
Kinda, yeah.
This is like...
Very much so.
I was filming this, and it was like, he must have known he was dying soon, right? Like, this is absolutely the kind of performance a dying man would give. And that is the harshest critique I have ever given any actor in anything. Burt Reynolds must have been actively dying when he turned in this performance.
Oh my God.
No, Burt Reynolds wasn't bad in the movie.
No, he was passable.
He was a senile old man, and also his performance was good.
Yeah, his performance was fine.
Like,
it was just passable.
Burt Reynolds plays Burt Reynolds.
Yeah.
To a confusing degree, because he
actually plays Burt Reynolds with Burt Reynolds.
Yeah. He plays an actor, and he doesn't play Burt Reynolds in the movie. He plays what's the actor's name? Do you remember?
Donnie Brasco.
No, that's not it.
No,
I'm fairly sure that's...
You don't think so?
That's something else.
Chevy Chase.
Yeah, he plays Chevy Chase in the movie, and Chevy Chase plays Harrison Ford or something. I don't know.
Just imagine Chevy Chase doing a movie where he plays Harrison Ford.
Yeah. Have I ever told you the story about how... Well, no, it's not a story. Have I ever told you that when I was a kid, I found it impossible to keep Chevy Chase and Harrison Ford separate? To tell them apart?
Really?
No, I'm talking young Chevy Chase and Harrison Ford. Somehow, in my mind, those two were just interchangeable. And looking back on it now, they're pretty different.
They're pretty different. Like, I guess a really young Chevy Chase.
Yeah, they looked a little similar.
They got some similarities, but, like, not a lot.
They're both like they always played cocky guys in movies, and
Yeah.
I think that's what did it for me.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah.
My internet's not working, so I was stalling to find out who Burt Reynolds actually was, and it's not working.
He plays an actor. He plays Burt Reynolds. Like the movie creates this backstory for his character, and it seems like a weird workaround because essentially they just wanted him to play himself.
Yeah, basically.
And I don't know why they didn't just say this is. I don't know why they didn't just go the fictionalized biopic route. You know what I mean?
I can tell you why.
Why?
Because he was an absolute asshole for a good portion of this film.
Yeah, well, that's true. He's really.
Which Burt Reynolds probably wasn't.
Here's what I'm gonna say about Burt Reynolds in this movie. I didn't find his character an asshole because he was constantly.
Justified?
Justified, yes, but he was constantly pitted against characters who are far more irredeemable or insufferable than he is. And he's supposed to be the asshole, but I always thought he was like the I think it was just down to like you're supposed to care about the people running the film thing. I think you're supposed to care about them a little more. I was just like, these people are pathetic.
Yeah, I think I think that comes down to your hatred towards the teen drama side of things.
Yeah, that comes down towards my hatred of particularly like younger film snobs and teen drama. I hate all that, but like the people running the film, it's just like literally in like a bar, and it's like it's just pathetic. The film festival, which is just like every year they invite a famous actor, and the famous actor never shows up. And this year he was the first guy to show up ever.
But like, don't lie to yourself. If there was that kind of thing going on and we were going to it, we would have a blast.
Yeah,
like it would be amazing. We would have a great time.
Sure. Honestly, no, I'm going to disagree with you on that.
Really? You don't think so?
Because the whole thing was just unbelievably lame. And
really?
Yeah, I thought so.
So, okay, hold on. So, wait, you're telling me, let's say we were going to have a night where we were going to watch, like...
Well, if we did it, it would be fun. Because we're friends. You know what I mean? We're like, if our friend group did it, it would be fun. I'm saying
listen,
if I went to this film
I'm
festival...
I'm setting up the scenario, right?
Right.
Okay. We're going down to Brewster's.
Yes.
And we're going to put cloth on the wall. I got a projector. It's going to be great. And I got you... me, a couple buddies, and then I just randomly posted around town that we were gonna do a film festival.
And we invited Clint Eastwood.
And yeah, like a Clint Eastwood film festival. Let's say we like Clint Eastwood a whole lot.
Yeah.
Like more than we actually do. And we invite Clint Eastwood, right? Which I wouldn't do because I think that's a little much. We would have a good time.
Yeah, but let's say Clint Eastwood doesn't show up.
I would go, okay, and then I would continue on with my life.
Yeah,
but if he did show up...
It's a good time for these people, this group of friends.
Yeah.
They probably have fun with it. It's not pathetic to them, right? I get you. But in the context, from the perspective of Burt Reynolds coming in...
Most definitely.
And he's like, these are like a bunch of losers. Like, I won like an Oscar.
Yeah.
And what is going on here? And the movie's the movie's supposed to make you think he's a dick, but I was kind of with him. I mean, like, you know, nobody likes to be in a room full of nerds that hero worship you. You know what I mean? It's kind of dehumanizing.
Well, yeah.
And
the hero worship thing is obnoxious.
To be fair, that was probably the point. I think that's the point the filmmakers were trying to get across. They're like, it's dehumanizing. It's demoralizing. But also, Burt Reynolds is an asshole. And yeah, okay, I would have bought the Burt Reynolds is an asshole thing had he not been paired with this woman. Who is like his sidekick throughout the whole movie. Who's
your least favorite thing to exist.
Well, here's the problem is I've known people like that.
Yeah, I know.
And
I also know people like that.
Yeah. And it's painful to watch in film format because it's just like, oh my god, like what an awful person. Like it's just so awful. Like she's such an unlikable character, like irredeemable. And then they tried to have an arc with her, and it was like at a certain point she was like, oh, she's supposed to be sympathetic, but I was like, no, like what? Why am I supposed to sympathize with her? What changed? Now she's like less of a prick, sure, but like she's still a prick.
Yeah.
Like
her character development changed from I'm with an abusive, toxic relationship guy, and now I've learned from this man to now go date this other guy, but I haven't actually changed my own personal perspective on anything.
No.
It's pretty great.
It's one of those movies that it has a character arc that doesn't feel earned. It doesn't feel like they actually put the work into
it's hard to even call it a character arc because basically Burt Reynolds is just like, date that guy instead. He's a better match, and she's just like, yeah. That's it.
Yeah, I mean, they did some perfectly admirable things with her character. They portrayed how she was abused by him, and she got back together with him the next day, and this is like a. It's sort of that is the way it is with a lot of abusers and abusees.
But that's not an arc. That's just a baseline.
No, that's not an arc. But I like that. That's a real thing that happens.
Yeah, that is a real thing.
Like I like that they called attention to it. However, I didn't like the movie.
No, I know.
I gave it a 4 out of 10. 4 out of 10 in that it's not horrible. It's just not quite worthwhile.
I'd probably do a 5 out of 10 because it's mediocre. It's middle lane, right down the line.
I think we've said multiple times before that the worst thing an A24 movie can be is mediocre. Like a 5 out of 10. Because I prefer like a Woodshock over this. Because at least Woodshock is like... You can really...
Memorably bad?
Yeah, you can really sink your teeth into how bad it is. This, it's passable and forgettable.
Yep.
And boring.
I won't remember it in a week or two.
Yeah. Let's see. Highlights. There's a scene where they steal an old lady out of a nursing home. I liked that.
Yeah. I enjoyed that.
That was good. I feel like I felt the emotion. It had an ending that was supposed to be like a tearjerker.
I feel like I felt an emotion.
Yeah, I think I felt something. I think it's called an emotion. I'd never want to feel it again.
Yeah, let's never do this again.
No. I was like, oh man, it's rare that a A24 movie can like get me to like kind of tear up a little bit, and then I watched Lean on Pete, and then I totally forgot I ever watched Last Movie Star. Because oh boy.
So just like that, Lean on Pete, huh?
Do you want to just get right into it?
I mean, Last Movie Star. That's all I gotta say about it.
Hold on, I gotta take a drink of water because my voice is a little hoarse. Oh my god.
Oh my god, you're gonna kill me.
Alright. Oh, this is a fantastic... I'm not editing any of this out.
I hope not. Good lord.
Okay. So, Last Movie Star, 4 out of 10. Forgettable, but if you really like Burt Reynolds and you want to see him as a senile old man in a weird indie drama, give it a shot. I suppose Chevy Chase is in it.
So I was kind of right.
Yeah, what about?
Half of this movie is him getting to know this horse. And the other half.
Oh boy. Okay, can I just... Here's what I thought this movie was.
What did you think this movie was?
I thought... And IMDb, it's listed as a family movie.
Why?
Why? Beats me.
Is that real?
Yeah. Okay. So here, I guess in the sense that it's about family.
Kinda.
And it's about family, and that's what's so special about it. All right. Here's what I thought Lean on Pete was gonna be. Troubled kid lives on the wrong side of the tracks.
Okay.
Because his dad's like an asshole, abusive, alcoholic, that type of thing.
Mm-hmm.
He's got no future, and he decides to run away.
Yep.
With this horse.
Uh-huh.
That named Lean on Pete, because he feels a kindred spirit in the horse, because the horse is kind of like going to be put down because he's not performing well in his races.
Okay.
And the two of them leave and go on this grand adventure.
Like a homeward bound experience.
Yes, exactly. They go on this
grand
adventure across the western United States. And it's a soul-searching adventure. And eventually, the kid finds himself. And the horse probably dies at some point.
I thought you were going to say the horse also finds himself.
Yeah, the horse probably dies at some point, but that's like a third act thing, right? That's like that happens, like, and it's a really emotional thing. Maybe the horse sacrifices itself for the kid. What I'm trying to say is it's a really heartfelt, sappy movie. And then the kid reunites with his long lost family, and he lives happily ever after. This movie's fucked up.
A little bit, yeah.
The movie's like really fucked up.
A little bit, yeah.
So if you're expecting listen. If you're like grandma loves horses.
Oh, show her this movie, please.
Yeah. If you're expecting like a heartfelt, sappy movie, melodrama kind of thing, like, no. This movie's more upsetting than Climax.
No, it's not.
For me, it kind of was.
Why?
It's so upsetting. It's so depressing. It's like bleak. It's morbid.
Yeah.
The horse does die, of course it does, but it's like the journey's barely even begun. Then the horse dies, and the rest of the movie is like kid.
That's halfway through the movie.
It is halfway through the movie, but it takes a while for the journey to start.
That's also true.
And then the horse dies unceremoniously, gets hit by a car.
So did you get the surprise Shiv Buscemi? I also got that. Yeah, that was very out of nowhere. I wasn't expecting it at all.
Steve Buscemi is in this movie, and that's a good thing.
Yeah, he did great.
He's great. He's a jaded prick.
Yeah.
And you know what? Okay, I'm getting ahead of myself. What this movie really is about life sucks and bad things happen. And you got family, but not much else. And people live, and they learn to hate the things that they love. And everybody dies. And that's the moral of the movie.
That's real. So it starts out, you got a young kid. He is on the wrong side of the tracks. His father's not abusive at all.
No, that was the first big shock of the movie. His father's actually like a decent guy.
He's like trailer,
He's trashy.
Yeah.
But everybody in this movie's a little trashy. His father, like, and they set up the father like a traditional like asshole dad character.
Yeah,
but then it was like,
immediately
he's actually
flip it.
they flipped it on its head right away. They're like, no, he's actually a good guy.
Just looking out for his kid.
Yeah.
Doing the best he can, making money.
There's that classic scene where the kid comes home and the girl's in the kitchen who he's never seen before, and it's just like his father's latest like
fling,
one night stand.
Yeah.
And his father's not even there, so the kid's got to like make awkward conversation with this girl, and then his father comes out of his bedroom. He's still like buckling his pants up. I'm like, okay, this is absolutely what I was expecting out of this. But then no, he's just a
nice guy,
just a chill guy
who just had a good night.
Yeah.
Which was super cool to see. I loved that.
Yeah.
That was a nice, refreshing thing to experience.
Yeah, and then his father
and then
dies.
It goes downhill from there.
Then his father gets murdered. And I was like, okay, all right. So things have kind of shifted off the roadmap I had in my head.
Oh, okay. So dad gets injured.
Yeah.
Gets thrown through a glass window, and then in the hospital, the kid's like, "All right, well, I got this job working at a horse track, helping out some horses."
Yeah, because he just goes up with Steve Buscemi. Steve Buscemi is this old, jaded, crusty old guy who is like...
He just owns horses.
He owns horses and he puts them in horse races. And this movie is very, very much like anti-horse race. Because it's like, you just work these horses to death.
Yep.
Just for like financial gain.
And so
and Steve Buscemi is just like he doesn't even care. Like he's just like I there's like this really poignant moment where he's like, I used to love horses too. And it's like, because like the kid's like really, really likes horses, and Steve Buscemi's, you like horses, like I used to like horses too, but he's been doing this for so long, he just sees them as meat.
Yeah.
Like
a way to make money.
He doesn't even care.
So his dad's in the hospital, and he's like, well, we need to make money, so I'm going to go and make some money while he's in the hospital, since he's recovering. And then he leaves, and he calls the hospital trying to get messages through to his dad, and he comes back home after making some money and being upset about horses being sold off. Not his favorite horse, Pete, but, the other horse.
Yeah, because he bonds with this horse called Lean on Pete.
And he comes home, and the doctor's like, "Oh, your
dad's dead.
Your dad's dead.
Yeah, things went south, and he's a goner, kiddo.
We missed something. He went septic, and he died."
Yeah. And you genuinely just don't see the father again before he's just dead.
Nope, he's just gone.
Yeah, and
that entire scene was really good.
Yeah.
It was really upsetting.
That's the first of many scenes to come where this movie goes places you wouldn't expect it to go. You wouldn't expect this horse adventure movie to go there. But boy, howdy, does it have some twists in store for you.
Yeah. And so he runs. Like, he literally just runs.
He just takes off. And this is, he takes off, and he goes and he learns that Lean on Pete's gonna get sold off to Mexico so he can be slaughtered, because you can't legally slaughter racehorses in this country, but you can in Mexico. So and very foolishly, Steve Buscemi gets this kid to transport the horse that he knows the kid loves so much, and all on his own. So the kid's like, all right, I'm just gonna take off. He leaves.
Just gonna steal your truck and go.
Yeah, he steals the truck.
And you never see Steve Buscemi again.
He's out of the movie.
Yep.
Because it doesn't matter.
Yep.
It doesn't matter because he goes on this grand adventure with Pete, and then just like completely out of nowhere, unceremoniously, Pete gets off of his harness, his lead.
Truck breaks down. There's some interactions with police and convenience stores because he's run out of money.
And he tries to dine and dash at a convenience store.
Yeah.
Or dine and dash at a diner.
Yep. And then he runs out. What was it? The truck broke down?
Yeah.
Finally. And then they're walking through the desert for like ages. They ended up at like some random house for a while.
Yeah, that was a weird
That was a weird scene.
Because it was just two like stoners out in the middle of nowhere playing video games, and they just like, yeah, sure, come into our house. But then you get a horse? That's pretty cool.
Yeah, it was very odd. That entire scene threw me for a loop.
Yeah, this is a movie where he just like kind of drifts in and out of the lives of all these characters.
Yeah.
And it's very road trip-esque. And yeah, then just like out of nowhere, like things are going okay, and then with no movie drama or anything, Pete suddenly breaks free from his lead because he gets startled by a group of motorcycles going by on the highway, and he just runs out on the highway and gets run over by a car.
Yeah, just is smacked by a car.
Yeah, and and then you're like, oh man, he's gonna be injured, and this is gonna be the driving plot for the rest of the movie. We gotta get Pete somewhere. We gotta fix him up, and then he
dead.
Runs over and he just watches Pete die.
Yeah, he's just
and then
dead.
He starts gasp crying for an uncomfortably long amount of time. Yeah. And this is the second time where you're like, this big gut punch moment where you're like, wow, this movie, I didn't think it was going here.
Everything in this kid's life has officially been taken from him.
Yep, he has nothing left to live for. So he falls in with some crackheads.
Yeah.
And then he gets a job
painting houses.
And then the crackhead who is formerly nice to him learns that he got some money, wakes him up in the middle of the night, starts beating him up,
and takes his money.
Takes his money from him, kicks him out of the caravan they're living in. And then our protagonist, who's got nothing left to live for, goes and grabs a tire iron out of a trunk.
Yeah,
and this is the third moment where I was like, whoa!
Yep.
And then he returns to the caravan and he quite possibly murders the crackhead.
Yeah, it's a possibility.
Yeah, he beats his head with a tire iron, and he's on the ground. He's not moving. He's bleeding out the head. And he takes his money back.
Yeah. We never see that crackhead again.
No, and then he just moves on.
And then he finds his aunt and lives happily ever after.
Yeah. 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 Okay, so my favorite comment that came about the last episode of A24 Quest was Al-Haran, or however you pronounce it. He said we talked about climax in a tone of voice like we were discussing somebody having died.
And that's real.
That's kind of how I feel like talking about this movie, because it is a real bummer. It's I wasn't expecting it to be as bleak as it was. It's extremely depressing, violently depressing.
Yeah.
'Cause there is little to no hope.
Yeah.
In the whole movie. And there are lines that'll just kill you inside. Like, even when this movie's not throwing ridiculous, messed up, there are things that the kid says about himself that really resonated with me. There's this line that really stuck in my head where he was talking about how he had friends when he was going to school, and they were they had a really nice life, and he would go over to their house and they would make him food, and they would treat him as part of the family. And it's the family he never had. And he's talking to Pete, kind of talking to himself, but he's talking to Pete, and he's like, I don't want to go back to them because I'd rather they never see me again than see me like this.
Yeah.
And this movie's rough.
Oh, most definitely.
Yeah, it's psychologically. There's a lot going on. It's saying a lot of things about hopelessness and depression and everything like that. It's yeah.
That's basically the whole story. You want to talk about pros and cons? I mean, we talked about pros.
Yep.
The story and the bits we mentioned were essentially pros.
Okay, so on a technical level, it's extremely well done. Editing's top notch. The cinematography is actually really good.
It is pretty good.
It's one of those movies where it's the surprise is the cinematography is really great. Acting is great. I actually loved the kid actor.
You really liked him?
Yeah.
I wasn't a huge fan.
He's a little hit or miss sometimes. Some scenes where I'm like, okay, not perfect, but I think he kind of nailed some of the more emotional scenes.
Yeah, I think he did pretty good, but there were definitely scenes where I felt like he was almost a background character to his own show.
Yeah, well, he can be a little mumblecore at times. Absolutely.
Yeah.
But I think for an actor, it's probably like 15 or 16.
It's pretty good
to carry a movie like this. I think it was impressive.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
Yeah, and obviously Steve Buscemi's great. Not Amanda Seyfried. What's her name? Chloe Sevigny or whatever is in it, and she's Chloe Sevigny. She's in it.
She's there. She's doing it.
She's reading the lines. She was fine in it. Steve Buscemi's great as always.
Yep.
Like I've never not loved Steve Buscemi in a movie.
The father was really, really good.
He was.
The little bit he was in there.
Yeah.
Who else stuck out? I don't think anyone else stuck out to me. Like all the other side characters, I wish they were more interesting, and maybe that would help. Push their storylines. Like the weird stoner house would have been more interesting if the characters were, but
yeah,
there just wasn't much there.
Cons. I don't know who this movie was marketing.
Well, those were cons.
Oh, those were cons?
Yeah, the characters, other places being kind of meh.
But other than that, I don't know who this movie's for.
Yeah, that's real.
Is it for me?
It's kind of for you.
I guess it's for me.
It's for you.
I rated it very high. I rated it 9 out of 10.
Wow.
And my reasoning for that is, I think for what it is, it's kind of flawless. For what it is. Now, if what it is doesn't appeal to you, you're not going to like it. Disclaimer. If what we described to you, road trip movie, kind of episodic characters that come and go, upsetting shit going on 24/7. If that does not sound like your cup of tea, you're going to hate yourself.
I think you have to really enjoy constant down.
Yes.
Just constant down feeling. Just feeling down.
The audience that are checking out this movie because they want an uplifting movie about a horse.
Oh, go away.
They're not gonna enjoy it.
Get your money back.
Yeah, they're gonna be upset. They're gonna be very upset they watched this movie.
Yeah, it's not. I mean, I guess the ending has like a nice happy bow on it.
The 50-year-old woman named Karen, Karen's way too stereotypical a name. I can think of something better. The 57-year-old woman called Dolores that went to go see this movie because she really has a thing for horses. She was like, "This is the worst movie I've seen since Horse Girl."
Horse Girl.
That's a deep cut.
That is a deep cut. I don't know what that is.
That's a really funny joke. That's a really funny joke. And
I'm glad you think so.
I hope that at least one person watching gets it.
All right.
Because Horse Girl was a movie that came out a couple years ago. Spoiler alert, it's not about horses. It's about mental illness. It's pretty similar to Lean on Pete. It's pretty similar to Lean on Pete, and that's just really upsetting. I haven't seen it.
You know, when you just say Horse Girl, the only thing I think of is Shark Boy and Lava Girl, but now it's Horse Girl.
Yeah, absolutely.
Which is upsetting.
Shark, yeah. What would Lean on Pete be called? It's like Truck Boy and Horse Girl.
Truck Boy and Horse Girl?
Yeah. I don't even know what I'm talking about anymore.
I don't either. Lean on Pete, I gave it a 7 or 8 out of 10, somewhere in there.
I just went full on 9 because I think it's kind of like really great if you're into that sort of thing.
I thought it was good, but there was way too many times where I sat there just going, wow, this is upsetting. I'm gonna
sure, that's fair enough.
And so I just didn't absorb it as probably as much as I should have. But that's because I'm also avoiding really upsetting media currently. Just for a hot second.
Yeah, well, I was too. I was in a really rough place when I watched Lean on Pete, and I was like, this is a shame. It's a shame. It's a shame that I got to be watching this. But yeah, 9 out of 10. Would never watch again.
Yeah, I gotta say, I don't think I'll ever watch it
again. It's one of those, watch it once and good enough. Don't ever watch it again.
Good enough.
Yeah. So, speaking of movies that we're probably never going to watch again. Would you like to talk about next week's movies?
Yeah, so we got, chronologically, we got Backstabbing for Beginners.
Starring Mahatma Gandhi and Jacqueline Bisset. Bisset? Jacqueline Bisset. Jacqueline.
And Ben
And
Kingsley.
And Ben Kingsley.
Ben Kin.
It's about a murder within the UN and backstabbing.
Literally backstabbing
For beginners.
For someone.
I know nothing about this film.
I hope it's literally Ben Kingsley.
Hold on a second.
Kingsley.
What kind of a name is that?
Being taught how to backstab somebody.
So, okay, this movie is directed by somebody called Fly.
Fly.
He's Danish. Okay, that makes sense. I'm sorry.
Enough said.
I'm sorry, Danish people. Your names are weird. I just want to see if he's directed anything I know. No, not really.
No. Kind of wish he had with a name like that.
Yeah, Fly. What a legend. But Danish director. Fair enough. It might be interesting.
It might be.
We'll see.
There's a chance.
And today is my pick. So for the second time in a row, I'm picking a very me movie. Picking a movie called The Souvenir.
What's it about?
Is a pretentious romance movie.
Oh, okay.
I only want to see this movie because it stars Tilda Swinton.
Fair.
And Honor Swinton Bird. And you know what that means? That is Tilda Swinton's biological daughter, who is playing Tilda Swinton's daughter in the movie, too.
So how upsetting is this film going to be, do you think?
I don't think it's going to be upsetting. I think it's going to be... kind of bittersweet. That's my prediction.
Okay, let me phrase that better. How upset do you think I'm going to be by it? Because if it gets too bittersweet, I will just break down.
You might be a little upset by it.
Okay, cool.
The trailer makes it look... well, let's see. Okay. Okay. She defies her protective mother and concerned friends as she slips deeper and deeper into an intense, emotionally fraught relationship that comes dangerous close to destroying her dreams.
Wow, that feels like something I've seen happen before.
Yeah. So yeah, you're gonna be a little upset.
Oh man.
But the good news is, Richard Ayoade's in this film.
What? Really?
Richard Ayoade's in this film. That's
sick.
That's the other reason I wanted to see this, and it got good reviews.
I was down either way, but now I'm like way down.
People really liked this movie, and you know what? The reviews that always make me want to see a movie is when all the reviews are either like 8 stars, 9 stars, 10 stars, or 2 stars. The most boring thing I've ever seen. Because that means it's like actually a thinker and not there's probably substance to it. If people were like, just go see Transformers instead.
I just like polarizing movies.
Yeah, me too. Because at least it's gonna be interesting one way or the other.
Yeah, I'm gonna have some things to say about it.
Yeah. So, Backstabbing for Beginners and The Souvenirs. We're gonna have a couple dramas.
Yo!
I can't wait to get away from dramas, though.
What's the week after that looking like?
Let's see. Too many dramas.
It's been a lot of dramas.
It's
a lot of drama.
Okay, First Reform, we've seen that.
Yep.
How to Talk to Girls at Parties, we've seen that.
Oh, no.
Yikes. Okay, so it's going to be Hereditary and Midsommar.
Oh, fuck me, dude.
We wanted to get away from the upsetting things.
Yeah.
Do you want to just skip that and do something else?
We might have to for a week.
Do you want to give it like a period of like just 2 fun movies before we get into that? Because I feel like that's going to be necessary.
We might have to.
Okay, well, let's figure this out live on air.
What's fun?
The Death of Dilly Fun.
Okay.
It's from the director of Swiss Army Man. It's a weirdo comedy.
Yeah, I could use something like that.
What else is fun?
I couldn't tell you. The kill team?
The Kill Team is an action movie.
How upsetting of an action movie can it be?
It's an A24 action movie, so probably pretty upsetting. Let's read the synopsis. Okay. A young soldier in the U.S. invasion of Afghanistan witnesses other recruits killing innocent civilians.
Under a sadistic leader? Oh, boy.
He considers reporting them higher-ups, but the heavily armed, increasingly violent platoon becomes suspicious.
Oh,
yeah.
Oh, good.
Okay, yeah, that sounds really upsetting.
Wait. Who's in this? Is that Skarsgård?
Alexander Skarsgård.
Oh, yeah, that's going to be upsetting.
Hell no. Let's watch The Death of Dick Long. We're running out of movies, Josh.
We really are.
I'm going to be honest with you right now. We're running out of movies.
I'm kind of surprised.
Let's watch Death of Dick Long, and let's watch Under the Silver Lake again. No. Let's watch Glory Bell. Why not? It's probably not too interesting, but it's probably not going to destroy our life. On a night out, she finds herself thrust into an unexpected new romance filled with both the joys and budding lugs and complications of dating, identity, and family. It sounds not soul-destroying.
It does sound not soul-destroying.
Okay. We've got next group of movies figured out. Let's see if we even remember.
But yeah, next, okay. We can always change it as we go to
Backstabbing for Beginners and The Souvenir.
That's next week.
I hope you enjoyed this episode. Check out Lean on Pete. I wouldn't recommend The Last Movie Star.
Yeah.
Read a book.
I have been reading a book. It's been great.
Nice. I've been reading H.P. Lovecraft lately.
Yeah, that's always fun.
Yeah.
I have a name for your cat.
On the next episode of the A24 Quest, we're going to be watching Backstabbing. Oh my God. And what was the other one?
Backside for Beginners.
And The Souvenir. On the next... and I'll see you later.
Yeah.